Hey everyone, welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host, my name is Victoria Daisy, and today we're going to be discussing everything that happened last night on Monday Night Raw because so much went down. But before we dive deeper, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Now let's get right into this because the first segment was an emotional one, if you will. Jey Uso, the winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, came out and cut one of the most heartfelt promos I think I've ever seen from him. And before we even get to the promo itself, if you watched, then you already know his entrance. Wow. Now, you guys know I was at the Royal Rumble literally this past weekend, a couple days ago, and I got to yeet and experience his entrance and from when he won with about 65,000 other people. And even though I wasn't there last night at Raw, I feel like that might have been even more electric than the Royal Rumble itself. I mean, every single person in that arena was yeeting and screaming and cheering at the top of their lungs and putting their all into the yeet, if you will. Now, something that I thought was so amazing is that the fans would not let him speak. Okay, they did some chants like "You deserve it," "We love you," "Ye," and after his entrance, when he was in the ring ready to try and start speaking, the crowd chanted "One more time," which is not something we see often in the WWE, where fans are so amazed and infatuated with an entrance that much that they want it to happen again. And so the chant was "One more time," and Jey was like, "You want it one more time? Let's do it one more time." They played his music again and everyone yeeted, and it was so amazing. The only word I could think to describe it is electric, majestic. I have never seen anything quite like this, to be honest with you. I mean, the crowd goes crazy for Cena, the crowd goes crazy for Rock, the crowd goes crazy for Punk, but I mean, I think Jey Uso is, probably the hottest superstar we have right now on the roster. The superstar with that's the most over, the superstar with the most star power. I mean, it was just so insane. But let's talk about the actual promo and why we are here. So one thing that I thought was so sweet is that Jey was so emotional and it was so sweet. I mean, this is something that is real for him, you know? He was told all his life he's just a tag team wrestler or he'll never make it without the bloodline. And he proved every single one of those people wrong. And now he is one of the, if not the biggest superstar in the WWE. And it was just amazing. So he talked about his journey throughout his career and how it led to this moment, obviously, as you know, the Usos being a part of the bloodline, like I mentioned. And as he was talking about it, like I said, this is real for him. This isn't just a storyline, this is real life. You know, it's every wrestler's dream is to be a wrestler. It's to be a WWE superstar and main event WrestleMania and win championships and become a big name and create a legacy for yourself. But I could only imagine how for Jey Uso this must have felt impossible as a tag team wrestler. He mentioned that, you know, when people would look at him, they would say, "Which one are you?" As in, which twin are you? And I'm sure that must have stung. But he has now come to a point where people know he is main event Jey Uso. So with him talking about all this very emotional stuff, he starts crying. I mean, he was holding it back for a while, but the fans would not budge. They were chanting, "You deserve this," just amazing things. And he started crying and he was thanking the fans for all their support leading up till this moment and now, and for helping him get here. And it was just the most special, heartfelt promo. And it was so nice to see this newer side of Jey Uso, someone who's in touch with his feelings and his emotions. It was very relatable. One thing that I thought about the other day is, you know, sometimes or a lot of times actually, his promos or whenever he gets on the mic, they aren't the best worded promos. Sometimes they're a little ghetto, if you know what I mean. But I love that because I was telling my family, like, that's what makes him relatable. I mean, we have somebody like Cody who is polished and poised and knows the right things to say and how to say them. But having someone like Jey Uso who's the complete opposite and just speaks from the heart and just speaks how it is, I love that. That is so relatable for just the average everyday human being. And, you know, obviously, I'm sure he could work on his promos. I mean, couldn't they all? But I just, even though this wasn't the most perfect promo in sense of wording, it came from the heart and the fans felt the emotion. I was tearing up watching it, and that's not something you rehearse. That's something that comes out naturally. And I thought that was the most special thing. But of course, special moment in WWE can't last forever because Gunther, our WWE World Heavyweight Champion, interrupted. And so Gunther came out and he got on the mic in front of Jay, and he said to Jay that he was disappointed in him and that, end quote, this possible matchup isn't interesting to me. Gunther basically wants Jay to go talk to Cody and go pick him for Mania. And while I would love that, and I think that would be a great main event, if you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you would have seen a couple months ago, I think it was a month or two ago, I had posted a video talking about why John Cena needs to be the person to beat Cody Rhodes for that championship. If you guys watched the press conference right after the Royal Rumble, you would have seen that John Cena made a statement saying, I have earned my spot in the Elimination Chamber. I have been loyal to this company for 23 years, and I am putting myself in the in the Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to win it, and I'm going to main event WrestleMania, and I'm going to get my 17th championship. And obviously, he's not going to take that from Gunther. Like, let's be so for real. There's been a story brewing between Jay and Gunther, and it's literally just not going to happen. And the only logical choice for John Cena when probably he wins the Elimination Chamber is going to be Cody Rhodes. And Cody's title reign is historic. Or not that his title reign is, I would say the chase to his title reign is historic. Not necessarily the title reign itself. I think the chase was better than the reign. I digress. But I think that in order to make it worth his while, you know, he chased this championship for 2 years. He main evented WrestleMania right after he won his first Royal Rumble at WrestleMania 39 and lost. And then he did it all over again the following year. He won the Royal Rumble for the second time in a row. And he went to go main event WrestleMania. And he took the title from Roman. He beat him. And so the chase was historic. This is something we will never forget in WWE history. Now, it has only been, 7 months? 6, 7 months? No, that's a lie. Actually, maybe closer to a year since he's had that title. I mean, we're coming up on a year and 3 months. And while his title reign hasn't lived up to the chase, it definitely is not something he can just lose to anybody. Like, he wasn't going to lose to Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble, and it's not going to just be any old Joe. It has to be somebody memorable. And I think the only person can be John Cena. John Cena did say that he is winning this championship not for himself, but for the person who's going to be the next champion. So he gets to hand it over to them and pass the torch to them, which is interesting because now I'm like, okay, who's going to be John Cena for that title at the end of the year? And who's going to have that passing of the torch moment? Will it be Cody? Will it be somebody else? I don't know. I'm very intrigued to find out. And also, I think this plays a big factor into Money in the Bank as well. Like, whoever wins the men's Money in the Bank, do they cash in on Cena? Do they cash in on Jay? And if so, will they be successful? I mean, not every single time somebody who wins the Money in the Bank is successful. And at this time, if our champions coming out of WrestleMania are John Cena and Jey Uso, I really hope that whoever wins Money in the Bank is not successful, because there is no way either of those title reigns are getting cut short at all. It just simply cannot happen. But moving right back into Gunther's part of the promo, basically Gunther was trying to put himself over and saying that he is in control of this place, that this is his show, blah, blah, blah. And he basically refuses to do this again. He's stating that, you know, I beat you multiple times, and so why do I have to wrestle you again, especially at WrestleMania? Like, I don't want to wrestle you. I beat you 1,000 times. And while he has a point, Jey Uso, when he declared for the Royal Rumble, he said, I've lost to Gunther twice, but I know I can beat him. And he went on to win the men's Royal Rumble. So I have no doubt in my mind that he can absolutely take that title away from Gunther. Now, Gunther says, and this is a direct quote from him, he said, "You have everything to gain, and I have everything to lose." He continues and says, "If you choose me, Jay, I will make your life a living hell." Now, obviously, this is me just recapping it. If you want to go watch the full segment, please do so. It was a very strong segment, very strong promos from both men, and this is what Jay had to follow up with. He said, and quote, "Everyone telling me I'm just a tag team guy and I don't deserve to win the Rumble. But I'm telling you now that whoever I choose will lose. I'm walking into WrestleMania the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble winner, and I'm walking out as main event champion." Like I said, phenomenal segment. Love to see that side of Jay, and I love that they're continuing to build this story between Jay and Gunther. I don't know when Jay will make his official announcement, maybe next week. I know Jay will be heading over to SmackDown to talk to Cody Rhodes, so I don't know when that official announcement will come. But moving along in the show, we had the first match of the night. We had Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser. Now, I actually thought this was a really good match. Lots of great action from both men, especially Penta. You guys know how much I love Penta, and I just love how Penta always shows us something new, fun, fresh. His moveset is amazing, and it's just different every week, and I love it. Something I've recently fathomed, though, is the fact that I think it's worth mentioning that Ludwig Kaiser is so underrated. I don't think anyone talks about him enough. I mean, he definitely doesn't get all the credit that he deserves for what he does in the ring. I think his moveset is great, and I think him and Penta had a great match. But in the end, of course, Penta won. Now, something I thought was pretty interesting is that after the match, Pete Dunne came out to confront Penta, but before he could, Ludwig Kaiser attacked Penta. So, what could this mean? Are we going to get a storyline between Ludwig and Penta? How does Pete Dunne fit into all of this? I don't know, but I'm intrigued to see. Moving along, we've got a Judgment Day backstage segment. So, as you know, Finn was gone for 2 weeks. I believe it was just for some personal issues. But Finn basically was complaining to the entire Judgment Day that while he was gone for 2 weeks, everything went to straight chaos. And he seemed pretty jealous about the fact that Dom was calling the shots. So then he starts blaming Dom for everything that's gone wrong. He was mad that Dom took his tag team championship contenders match away, or was it the contenders match or the defense? I don't remember. Whatever. Basically, Finn wasn't in that match, but it's also like you guys would have lost that opportunity if Dom didn't step in, so he kind of had to step in. And so then Liv budged in per usual and reassured Finn that everything will be all right and that Dom's got everything under control, and that both Finn and Liv Morgan have Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, which is pretty interesting. Now, let's move into another big storyline developing from the women's side of things. We've got Charlotte Flair segment. Now, a bit of an unexpected reaction from the crowd. I thought they were going to cheer her for at least another month. I mean, there was a great reaction for her from the Royal Rumble a couple days ago, so I was pretty shocked when the crowd is very split. I would say there was definitely more boos than cheers, but definitely interesting. So Charlotte Flair, I'm not saying she's copying Jey Uso, but she definitely attempted to cut a very similar promo, which, it's not giving original. Mamas, we don't like that. Absolutely not. She said that she thought she was unbreakable until last year when she got injured. She was out for about 1.5 years, and that took a lot of time off of her career. She said that she loves everyone, even if they boo her. She is here for everyone and, tries to continue this sob story, right? But before she could really get a few minutes into that, my queen, our mommy, our WWE Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, interrupts. My literal mother slayed the house down per usual. You guys know that when Rhea Ripley comes out, I don't know how to function anymore. She's like my actual queen. I love her to death. Anyways, something that I thought was so fun. If you guys remember WrestleMania 39, that's when Rhea Ripley beat Charlotte Flair for that title. And Charlotte, the first thing she said to her was, "Hello, old friend." Gag City, hello. Rhea said that this is her show and that she respects Charlotte. She said that that the last time they fought, she beat her for that title. Charlotte said to Rhea that Rhea jumped the gun for an answer, but she's got nothing but time, says Charlotte. She said that she's going to go to every show to visit every champion to see who inspires her. So Rhea basically wanted Charlotte to pick her for the main event of WrestleMania, right? We all know that's not going to happen. But, let them talk, whatever. Charlotte did say that she is going to every show to visit every champion, which means tonight on NXT, Charlotte Flair will be there to confront Julia, have a chat with her. And on Friday Night SmackDown, she's going to go and talk to Tiffany Stratton, to see if she inspires her. And then I'm sure next week we'll get an official announcement, if not within the next 2-3 weeks before the Elimination Chamber. Now, I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff right here. I mean, Rhea jumped the gun, and she said the last time that, Charlotte saw her face to face, she was a kid, and now she's not. But Charlotte said that Rhea jumping the gun proved to her that she still is just a kid, which I think is beyond me. Okay. Now, if you guys saw my my Royal Rumble recap from yesterday, I talked and deep dived into my historic hatred for Charlotte Flair. I have always had very mixed feelings about her. If you want to know why, you can go watch that episode. It's the one before this one. So obviously, when Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley are face to face, it's no doubt in my mind I will always be on Rhea's side. But that was a bit of a clock, if you will. I hate to admit it, but it was a bit of a clock. Now, who do I think Charlotte Flair is going to choose? Obviously, I think the obvious answer is Tiffany Stratton, and whoever wins the Elimination Chamber will face Rhea at WrestleMania. Now, something pretty interesting is right after this segment, we transition backstage. There was a bit of I think maybe some commentary segments or commercials, whatever. I don't remember. In between this, so there was some time. It wasn't back to back, obviously. Rhea Ripley was backstage, and she went face to face against Io Sky. And then Io Sky got attacked by Liv Morgan, and followed by Rhea being attacked by Raquel Rodriguez, after Io told Rhea she might see her at WrestleMania. Now, I think that's probably the match we all want for Rhea, is Io Sky. While Io Sky is most likely not going to win that championship, I would love to see it, and I think that match would absolutely cook. Now, there is more tea involving Io and Rhea, which we will get to a little bit later. But now moving on to the next match, we have New Day versus Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. Now, one thing I thought was absolutely hysterical is that the New Day has a new theme and entrance, and it's so bad it's funny. I was quite literally cackling. I was expecting their regular theme song, and that's not what played, and it was definitely a laugh and a giggle. It was a good match. Nothing crazy, but lots of cool moves. Logan Paul did come out during the match, and he was out there to distract Rey Mysterio, and he actually took him out of the ring, slapped him, and brought it back into the ring. Since he has a Elimination Chamber qualifier match next week against Rey, and because of that, the New Day was able to pick up the W. Now, if we could get Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio in a feud, that would be amazing. I know they have their qualifier match next week on Monday Night Raw, so that should be very interesting. And then we move over, just another little commentary segment. Michael Cole announced that Roman Reigns will be out for the foreseeable future due to injury. Now, oh my God, when I heard this, was frustrated. I mean, you guys know how much I love Roman. He is an absolute king, my OTC. And so hearing that he's going to be out for the foreseeable future and probably will have no spot on WrestleMania is absolutely devastating. And it just sucks. I would have loved to see him in the Elimination Chamber, even if he wasn't going to win it, just to see him in it. It really sucks. But let's move on into a women's Elimination Chamber qualifier match. We have Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. Now, if you saw my Royal Rumble recap, like I mentioned earlier, yesterday, then you would hear me rave about these two women in the Royal Rumble on Saturday. Now, these two were the first two women in the Rumble, and I thought that they absolutely cooked. So when I heard that this match was happening, I could not be more ecstatic. I absolutely love this match. I think that their in-ring chemistry is off the charts. It was very fast-paced, and there were so many cool moves. Now, Raquel was trying to distract Io majority of the match, and that obviously didn't sit well with Rhea Ripley because she had enough and she came out and she tried to help Io, but instead got her disqualified from the match on accident. It truly was a sad accident. Now, Io was so upset, and Rhea was just trying to make amends, but Io was just expressing her frustration towards Rhea, and I felt so bad for Io. She definitely didn't deserve that. I would have loved to see her in the Elimination Chamber, and I wonder if there's a way she will still get back into it, because when you think about it, that loss was not her fault. So I wonder what they will do moving forward. Now, Liv Morgan will head to the Elimination Chamber and is one step closer to the main event of WrestleMania, which I don't think she will make, but you never know. Now we move into a Adam Pearce backstage segment. Adam Pearce announced that AJ Styles is the newest member of Monday Night Raw. Now, we saw him return at the Royal Rumble. This was a very shocking surprise return. He is somebody I think we all kind of forgot about, to be honest, not in a bad way. There were just so many rumors for so many people to return, and I think he was just the last person on our minds. But when his music hit, we were all so excited. I know I was jumping out of my chair. So happy he's back. And so he will make his return to Monday Night Raw next week, and he is officially part of the roster. So glad that he gets to be on that platform on Netflix. Such a huge deal. Now, Braun Breaker interrupts, and he said to Adam that it's important to him that AJ is kept away from him. Braun requested that him and Adam discuss business privately, excuse me. So what does this mean? Like, hello? Does he see AJ as a threat? I mean, we have to remember he's the Intercontinental Champion. I would love to see AJ become Intercontinental Champion. So could AJ have his welcome back match against Braun Breaker? I don't even freaking know, but I am so seated for Raw next week. Now, moving along into a Seth Rollins segment. Now, this was very, very interesting, might I say. He said that he was happy for Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble. He said it stung a little bit, but at the end of the day, he is happy and proud of him. He said he loves to see good people get good things, but on the flip side of that, of course, he has to talk about CM Punk. You know, his obsession, he loves that man to death, even though he hates to claim him, or he claims to hate him. Hello, my English. You know, he's obsessed with him. What can we say? He said that he loved seeing an embarrassment getting embarrassed by Punk losing the Royal Rumble. He said that he started talking about Roman Reigns and that Roman is hurt because of him. He said Roman deserved it because he hurts everyone near him and blah, blah, blah. Basically a whole sob story. Then he said he lost the Royal Rumble and it hurts, obviously. He said that it's okay because there are still opportunities for him to get to WrestleMania, and that all starts in a couple weeks during his Elimination Chamber qualifier match against longtime rival Finn Balor. Now, if you guys watch WWE in like peak 2016, peak 2017, we're screaming. This is a match we've wanted for a very long time, and I wish both of them could go to the Chamber, but if I had to make a prediction, I'd probably say Rollins is going to go to the Chamber, but you never know. So one thing that I thought was really funny is Seth Rollins calls out Sami Zayn because he had a few words for him. And so Sami Zayn comes out and I cannot with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is acting like the number one Sami Zayn fan. It was hysterical. He was dancing to his music and chanting his name. Seth tells Sami that he knows that he doesn't like Punk. So tonight is not the night to put on a face, but tonight is the fight of his life. Seth basically was gassing him up a little too much. He said, and quote, "People like you deserve to be in the chamber." And then CM Punk interrupts. Punk and Rollins started going at it during his entrance down the entry ramp. And that transitioned into the main event, which was the men's Elimination Chamber qualifier match, CM Punk versus Sami Zayn. Now, I thought this was a really good match, better than I expected, to be quite honest with you. I thought Punk and Zayn moved very well together in the ring. It was very smooth and clean. There was a super close call where it looked like Sami definitely won, but the match continued. It was definitely a botch. I mean, you definitely could argue that Sami won that match right then and there, but you know what? We keep moving forward. It's okay. CM Punk, honestly, is the ultimate troll because he told Sami, look at that sign, aka the WrestleMania sign, but you won't see it ever again because I'm levels above you. Obviously, we know what Punk said to Sami a few weeks ago. And in the end, CM Punk won. Now, phenomenal match, great main event. I thought it was the perfect choice. While this is already a stacked chamber with Punk and Cena, must we not forget that Punk still has a favor from Paul Heyman? I predict that John Cena will win the Elimination Chamber, and after is when Punk will cash in his favor for him to get to the main event of WrestleMania, because obviously the favor is for Punk to get into the main event of WrestleMania, and obviously he lost the Royal Rumble, and if he loses the Elimination Chamber, that's really it. So I have a feeling that he will cash in that favor. Now, nobody knows what the favor will be, but we shall see. Something so confusing, though, is that Kevin Owens came out to attack Sami Zayn after the match, which I have no idea why he would do that. He's an absolute psychopath. I thought they were friends. So I'm very intrigued to see how that pans out in the next couple weeks, but it is kind of karma for Sami. I digress. Back now into my overall thoughts. I thought that Monday Night Raw was... I thought this was a great Raw after Rumble. My match of the night was definitely Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. While I didn't like the ending, like I mentioned earlier, you guys know how much I love seeing them two in the ring together. It was just so exciting. And then I would have to say, obviously, my segment of the night was Jey Uso. I mean, oh my God, couldn't have chosen a better segment to open up Monday Night Raw. Now, I will say it was a bit hard choosing my segment of the night because I thought there was many good segments. I mean, Seth, Charlotte, but I mean, Jay absolutely took the cake with that one. I mean, nothing compares to Jey Uso, and especially his entrance and just the heartfelt side we saw of him last night. And I think that this version of Jey Uso is probably the most hungriest version we've ever seen of him. I mean, he is so determined to get that title at Mania, and I wholeheartedly believe that he will absolutely do so. And I'm just looking forward to seeing him on SmackDown and what chat he's going to have with Cody. Obviously, we know he's probably going to pick Gunther, but very still intrigued to see how that's going to pan out. Overall, I'd rate the show about a 7.5 out of 10. Lots of storyline development and some pretty good matches. Overall, just a phenomenal show. And I'm very intrigued for NXT tonight and for Friday Night SmackDown on Friday. Friday Night SmackDown on Friday. I'm never saying that ever again. But you know what? It's okay. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Championing the Passion. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.